I would like to introduce our next speaker, and he is Jesse Heffernan. And Jesse has been with us in terms of the recovery community for a long time. He's got a wonderful story and is a leader from the recovery side and professional side. Jesse can share with you all that he's doing, but what stands out to me most about Jesse is he goes right to the top with legislators, senators, representatives. He's looking at developing some new initiatives out of the box called Recovery Corps, a twist, modification of AmeriCorps, where individuals in recovery can get into a Recovery Corps position, work for a year, and then get more than $5,000 towards college and continue to build in terms of that. A lot of great new initiatives out of the box coming from this individual. Let's welcome Jesse Heffernan.
Now that he hyped me up, I better say something pretty profound. So again, my name's Jesse Heffernan. I'm a person in long-term recovery for the last 16 years from both with mental health issues and substance use. He was talking about, the professionalism, and so I wore my professional mohawk today. In that, and one of the things that I'm involved with right now is some friends of mine and I are doing 1 million mohawks for mental health awareness, and so we're trying to use like this very visual kind of opportunity for people to talk about the brain beneath it, right? And so we've gathered, 500-600 people. We're starting to gather some stuff with it. But when I think about recovery efforts and recovery initiatives, and I attend a lot of meetings in a lot of places, and one of the most profound things I heard was, our system is set up right now to get the results that we're getting. And that's all we can expect from it. It will go no further if we don't challenge it, if we don't move beyond that horizon that we can see. So for me personally in my recovery and kind of, if I were to think of a life goal or mission of something like that, I remember when I was incarcerated at Winnebago County Jail for a week. I had some court cases pending. You can see cap it if you need to. And I was supposed to go to court, and I called in because I thought you could do that. And I was like, I'm not going to make it today. And they don't like that. And so I got arrested, believe it or not. Went to jail and, started calling family members I hadn't talked to for years. And eventually my mom bailed me out. She got a credit card, and she came and got me. And I remember driving home with her and my older brother, and like a lot of folks, I think that get into those situations, they were telling me how my life was going to change the very next day, right? I'm going to get a job. I'm going to pay them back. I'm going to stop using drugs. Things need to be different. And in that moment, like I had this brief kind of window there, right? Where I said, yeah, this is messed up. Like, I've got 35 years hanging over my head, and I'm messing around. I'm calling into court. We got back to my mom's place. We just talked, right? We just said, this is what we're going to do, and I promised, and I saw it, in that moment, in the midst of my addiction. 5 minutes already? Wow. I said, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to change. I'm going to make a different path in life. So my brother dropped me off at my roommate's house, and what's the first thing I did? I got high, and after that I continued to get high, and I continued to be on the run. I continued to dodge court. I continued to do those things. When I finally was caught and incarcerated, I was bringing drugs into jail. I continued to deal. I continued to do all those things. So what I want to see in this world is that when there's those windows, and I see it as a person in recovery, as a recovery coach, as a person who now, the director of one of the 3 mental health peer respite facilities, and there's some flyers out there if you want to learn more about that too. I want a real life person in front of those families, in front of those people when they have that window. Our systems, you can have all the technology at your hands that you want, right? We've got Google. We can look stuff up. What's a treatment? How do I get there? But knowing that it's so difficult to navigate those things in crisis, not knowing the rules, not knowing who to talk to, not knowing how you're going to navigate county systems, it's my goal to see recovery coaches and or peers be accessible, real-life people accessible in those half-hour windows, 24/7. And there's models, and there's opportunities, and there's things happening in our country that are doing some of those things. Is this going to work? Excellent. So again, a little bit of idea what a recovery coach is. So there's approximately 22 million-ish people in the country who identify as being in recovery. I think recovery and the potential that it has is one of the most underutilized resources. By a show of hands, if I'm a person in recovery hanging out in this community today, where can I go hang out? Does everybody know where I can go as a person in recovery? Is there a club? Is there a center? Is there somewhere to go? Do you know where the places are in your community? Do you know who the people in recovery are? Are they represented at your treatment facilities? Are they represented on your coalitions? Again, we have all these people that want to give, and the idea of being a recovery coach is that we focus on the potential, not the pathology. There are some speakers here today. You're going to hear from Step Industries, and there's folks that know me from back when I first got into recovery, and that was the gift that they gave me, right? They knew that there was, I'm an addict, and I've got all this fun stuff going on, and there's probably trauma or something, but they also saw the potential, and they gave me opportunities. They gave me opportunities in leadership. They gave me opportunities to help other people. I was able to sit with a group of folks in recovery, and we developed one of the first youth and recovery meetings in the area. And so it was just coming up with creative ideas and harnessing the potential of people in recovery and really utilizing that to be able to make an impact on the community. And again, it's about defining the lanes, right? So as a recovery coach, as a peer, as a person in recovery, I'm not going to replace sponsors. I'm not going to replace counselors. But it's about defining that road and that pathway for people to help others access those different things, right? Like I can make referrals to them. But even with SAMHSA's 10 dimensions of recovery, looking at all those different places, it touches a little bit on what AJ was talking about. We need to look at all those components for someone, their emotional well-being, their spiritual well-being, their physical well-being. And not that as a coach, I need to provide those things for that person, because I don't. What I need to provide them with is an opportunity for them to be an expert of their own experience and ask for what they need. And then meet them where they're at, not expect them to adjust their life to what my plan is for them, but for me to adjust my sails to meet them where they are and to help doing that. 1 minute. It's kind of convenient, it's kind of not. The pressure's on. Get your point across, Jesse. So, and this stuff will be available for you, and I'll be here for the roundtable piece as well. This is just more information about defining the lanes when we talk about these things, and make sure that we have this separation, make sure that we have these things, as I know in this county here, there's talk about bringing in a recovery coach training. How does that get implemented? And as we start to see more and more recovery coach networks develop throughout the state, we've got Recovery Corps in Northwoods, we've got, I'm on the Governors Opiate Task Force. We made recommendations for coaches in hospitals and prison reentry. How are we making sure that we're using the same kind of programs and measuring the same things to see if we're having impact or not? So making sure that we can talk about those things and we have those plans ready for people. So again, this is kind of a newer format, right? It's happened on the coast, and like all things in the Midwest, we're a couple of years behind, but it's coming here, right? And there are amazing programs that utilize coaches within hospital systems, and I think that's the one that I'll touch on right now. And so in Rhode Island, the 5 major hospital systems utilize recovery coaches, and after someone's medically cleared from an overdose, a coach comes in. Again, we talk about those windows of opportunity, right? When are the times when, I remember when the times were for me, when I was ready to be like, I should really change something here. And so they're utilizing their relationships with their hospital systems, with their treatment systems, with their law enforcement, as those are the times when someone has that intervention in their life and says, I need to make a difference, I need to change something in my life. And how do we get them connected with someone immediately in that time period so that we can get them on a pathway of recovery that works for them? Our neighbors over here in Minnesota, they've been doing amazing work too with the Minnesota Recovery Connection. And coaching isn't just about like doing the one-on-one coaching piece, but it's also about education, doing things like this, and building recovery capital within a community. Every year in Minnesota, they have an opportunity to have a recovery night at the Minnesota Twins games. And we're going to be doing something similar to that with the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. The last game on September 1st is recovery night. A huge section is set up just for people in recovery and their families where they won't be selling alcohol. We're going to have resources there. And my time is up. So we'll be doing mohawks for the 1 Million Mohawk Health Campaign out in the lobby during lunch. You're all invited to do that. So thank you very much.